For every swing, every moment, the Milwaukee Brewers fight. It's not just about hitting the ball, it's about leaving a legacy.
Hello, Brew Crew. Welcome back to our channel, the definitive meeting point for every Milwaukee Brewers fan seeking exclusive news, in-depth analysis, and a perspective from someone who truly understands the passion for this team. I'm your host, and as always, my mission is to go beyond the box score, bringing you the insights and information you won't find anywhere else. Today, we have a topic of vital importance, a serious conversation we need to have about the final stretch of our 2025 season. But before we dive headfirst into this crucial analysis, I need to make that special request that helps me continue bringing this content to you. If you're a member of the Brew Crew and not yet officially part of our community here on YouTube, please do so now. Click the subscribe button right below and turn on the notification bell. By doing so, you ensure you'll be the first to know about the latest news and analysis, strengthening our space as the voice of the fans. It's quick, it's free, and it makes all the difference. Thank you so much for your support. Now let's get to it. The current situation of our Milwaukee Brewers is, to say the least, paradoxical. On one hand, we are living in a moment of glory. We look at the standings, and what do we see? We're at the top of the National League Central Division with a solid 5.5 game lead over the second place team, our arch rival Chicago Cubs. More than that, we boast the best record in all of Major League Baseball. This in itself is a cause for celebration and immense pride. We built this lead with our identity with Brewers baseball, a game focused on fundamental, solid defense, smart base running, and above all, a resilience that few teams possess. We did all of this after an offseason that for many experts would spell the end of our ambitions. We lost Willy Adames, the beating heart of our infield, to free agency. We had to say goodbye to our elite closer, Devin Williams, in a trade that shocked everyone. The external narrative was that 2025 would be a rebuilding year, a step back. But we defied all odds. Once again, we showed that the strength of this team lies in the collective, in the winning culture that has been implemented in Milwaukee. However, and this is where our conversation gets serious, invincibility is an illusion in baseball. The season is a brutal 162-game marathon, and the last few weeks have set off a warning sign that we cannot ignore. Recently, an article published on Bleacher Report by Kerry Miller, a respected and meticulous analyst, put into words a concern that many of us fans have started to feel. The article's headline itself is a gut punch. He expresses a real concern that with just 3 weeks left in the regular season, our team may be in a process of regression. And as hard as it is to read and admit, Miller's analysis is based on data and observations that deserve our full attention. The central point of Miller's argument is the abrupt shift in performance. He reminds us of the magical period we experienced in writing after watching this team go 53-16 from late May through mid-August, a 162-game pace for 124.4 wins over nearly half the season. This recent, let's call it extended funk of 11 losses in 19 games has felt pretty out of place. That statistic is frightening. We've gone from a team playing at a historic, almost unbeatable pace to a team that over the last 3 weeks has a losing record. This drop-off is not just minor turbulence, it's a worrisome reversal, of course. That 14-game winning streak in August, our second streak of 10 or more wins this year, now seems like a distant memory. The present reality is harsher. Miller's analysis goes deeper and points a finger at the heart of our success: the pitching staff. And the numbers are alarming. He highlights that both Jacob Misiorowski and Brandon Woodruff, theoretically our two most reliable arms in the rotation, have an ERA over 8.0 since mid-August. For those unfamiliar, an ERA above 8.00 means that on average these pitchers are giving up more than 8 earned runs every 9 innings. That's an unsustainable number for any pitcher, and it's catastrophic when it comes to your top starters. In the case of Misiorowski, our young electric-armed prodigy, we might be witnessing the famous rookie wall, the barrier many rookies hit when the fatigue of a full first season and opponents' adjustments start to take their toll. For Woodruff, our veteran ace, the situation is even more enigmatic and concerning. Could it be fatigue? A minor mechanical flaw? Regardless of the cause, the effect is devastating. Their poor performances force our bullpen into the game earlier and more often, creating tremendous wear and tear on the entire system. And if the problem were only in the rotation, perhaps we could compensate. But the concern extends to the offense. Miller points out that Andrew Vaughn's Shelby Miller has fallen back to earth after his absurd first 29 games with the Brew Crew. Vaughn was our big surprise, the offensive piece that elevated the team's ceiling. His production was so vital that it masked some of our deficiencies. Now, with his cooling off, the offense looks more predictable and less potent. Our offensive philosophy, based on putting the ball in play and pressuring defenses, requires multiple players to contribute. When a key piece like Vaughn stops producing, the pressure on Christian Yelich and William Contreras multiplies, and the lack of a classic power hitter in our lineup becomes more apparent. To complete the worrisome picture, we have the bullpen. The unit that so often saved our games now appears fragile. Shelby Miller's elbow injury, sustained in a game against the Phillies, was a terrible blow. Miller was that experienced, reliable arm, capable of pitching multiple innings and calming the game down in high-pressure moments. His absence creates a void that is difficult to fill. The good news is the expected return of Trevor Megill in time for the playoffs, which would be a significant reinforcement. However, we cannot pin all our hopes on a player who is coming back from an injury. The reality is that at this moment, our bullpen is overworked and has less depth than we would like, heading into the most decisive phase of the year. So, what does this all mean? It means our 5.5 game lead, which looks comfortable on paper, is extremely fragile. In baseball, a lead like that can disappear in 1 or 2 bad weeks, especially if the team chasing us, the Cubs, gets hot. There's no more room for complacency. Every game, every inning, every pitch from now on has gigantic importance. We are no longer just playing to secure the division title. We are playing to rediscover our form, to fix the problems that have become apparent, and to build the momentum necessary to be a real threat in October. It's one thing to qualify for the playoffs, but it's another thing entirely to arrive there playing your best baseball. This is the ultimate test for manager Pat Murphy and his staff. It's time to make tough decisions. Perhaps it's necessary to give Woodruff a break, to skip one of his starts to let him recover physically and mentally. Maybe Misiorowski's role needs to be adjusted, using him in lower leverage situations to help him regain his confidence. On offense, it's time to experiment, to look for new lineup combinations that might create a spark. The resilience we've shown all season will be tested to its absolute limit over the next 3 weeks. Kerry Miller's analysis shouldn't be seen as an omen of doom, but as a call to action. Cracks have appeared in our armor, and now we have to fix them before it's too late. The World Series dream is still within our grasp, but the path has suddenly become steeper and more perilous. Now, I want to turn it over to you, the Brew Crew Nation. What do you all think about this? Does this Bleacher Report analysis reflect your concerns? Do you believe this is just a bad spell, a passing turbulence, or do you see these problems as something deeper that could compromise our season? What moves would you like to see from the coaching staff? Leave your opinions, your diagnoses, and your suggestions here in the comments. This space is ours to debate the future of our team. And if you followed this detailed analysis to the end and value this type of content, I repeat my request. Subscribe to the channel. It's the best way to ensure you don't miss anything and to help me keep producing. Thank you for your attention, and as always, go Brewers!